What's up guys, I hope you're doing well and thank you so much for joining me on my channel, Discover Marine. My name's Alex and I thought I'd make this channel as a way of documenting my first real attempt at a mixed reef. Now I've had several saltwater aquariums over the years and I always specialised in keeping predatory fish, whether it was lionfish, eels or most recently sharks. I kept sharks for a few years and I specialised in bamboo and marmalades to be specific, and I found that I was always missing out on that picturesque reef setting that I wanted. Don't get me wrong, sharks are awesome and I really enjoyed keeping them, but you really do miss out on that colourful coral reef that most of us want as saltwater keepers. So after several years of keeping sharks, I decided to remove myself from that aspect of the hobby, do lots of research and go for a system that was a lot smaller. I've come from a system that was 1,400 litres and I decided that I wanted to go below 100 litres for this system. I figured if I could keep sharks happy for many years, I could definitely keep water parameters in check and stable for a coral reef. I really did miss out on that picturesque small slice of the ocean, so I decided that I wanted a small nano tank to focus on. So what tank did I go for? Well, I looked at Red Marine, Water Box and also Red Sea. The Red Sea Max Nano really took my fancy. I've had a Red Sea tank before and I thought the build quality was awesome. But the one thing that won me over was the fact that Red Sea comes with pretty much all the equipment you need, bar dosers and wave makers. So it's suitable for beginners and advanced hobbyists. The Red Sea Max Nano also sets itself apart from the other Red Sea tanks in the range because you have the option of having no stand at all if you'd like, and that's reflected in the price. I myself went for a white stand and I can't wait to get it set up. So why don't we take a look at what you get for your money with the Red Sea Max Nano. So here it is, the Red Sea Max Nano. First impressions with just the box alone are absolutely awesome. It gives me some nostalgic vibes about my first games console, and I think it's something to do with the box art and also just the possibilities of what you can do with this. So something to keep in mind is that Red Sea delivers on a pallet in the UK. That means your cabinet and your tank will come on a large wooden pallet and it's curbside delivery only. So just make sure you've got someone around if you're not the strongest person. You don't want to drop these tanks because they are expensive and it would be absolutely heartbreaking to drop one of these on the floor. So let's not wait any longer. The box looks great, but I'm sure the tank and the innards look even better. So let's take a look inside and see what we get for our money. So on opening up the box, you'll be greeted with this Red Sea Max Nano complete plug and play installation and operation manual, and it's pretty much just got all the info you need to get started. And you'll also see this guaranteed reef spec stamp pretty much all over their branding, and it's just to give you that peace of mind that they've done their research over the years and everything that they supply with this aquarium has met that specification for coral care, which is pretty awesome. You'll also get this leaflet here which says you register your new system within 90 days from purchase and enjoy an extended 1-year warranty on your aquarium glass in addition to standard 2-year system warranty. So you get 3 years warranty, which is pretty good really, and it gives you that extra peace of mind. I found that the Red Sea support is absolutely awesome. They've sorted me out in the past, so it gives you that peace of mind. Next up is this absolutely gorgeous Red Sea cover. Now this latches onto the top of the tank, as you can see here on this image, and it covers up all the equipment and just makes it neat and tidy, which is really appealing for an all-in-one system. The last thing you want is to see a dirty skimmer cup hanging over the top of your tank, and this actually flips up so you can actually do maintenance, and it's just a really nice addition, and it gives you that Red Sea badge that you kind of pay a bit of extra money for, in my opinion. It's a bit like having a sports car. You want the badge to be shown off, you don't want it hidden. You'll also be supplied with a 45cm square thick foam base. This pretty much goes on the bottom of the tank, between the tank and the stand, and it's just to give you peace of mind that if there's anything like bits of debris on the stand, it's going to be cushioned, and it's also going to help leveling the tank out slightly. So next up, you will be greeted by this Red Sea Max Nano accessory pack. This is pretty much everything you need to get started that is included with the package. So let's take a quick look. First, you've got your return hose that's custom cut to the size, which is always nice. You don't want to be dealing with about 3 meters of length for a small tank. It's just a pain in the bum, but this is great. Nice bit of vinyl tubing there, which is gonna do the job great. Next up, you have your auto top-off reservoir. This lasts 2 to 3 days depending on your house temperature, and it's really cool because Red Sea always include these float valves. I've never had a problem with one of these float valves. They're really easy to maintain and clean, but I've had countless problems with electronic auto top-offs which always fail, or drain systems, etc. So this is essentially an easy way of keeping your salinity stable. You've got 2 to 3 days of RO DI water in here, and when your tank evaporates with water, the salinity rises. This will lower and open up a little valve which lets water drip in. Nice bit of kit, it's well made, it's got a lid on to stop dust as well, which is great. Next up, you've got this switch box, which is pre-assembled, so you don't have to faff with any electronics, and this latches onto the back of your tank, and pretty much these two switches allow you to turn off your skimmer and your flow, which is great for feeding fish because it means you can put food into the water column, the fish can get it, and it's not going to go find a crevice and rot and cause nitrates, etc. And it's also just good for maintenance because you don't have to deal with any plugs with wet hands, which is always a risk in a saltwater hobby. So it's a nice addition. Again, it's well made, it's solid, looks great bit of kit. You get this sponge here, which I might not use. Some people use them, some people don't, but they do reduce noise. Last thing you want is the sound of water running because it can be quite annoying. I don't think it'd be a major issue on such a small tank, but it's great to be included. It also helps catch detritus and things like that, but if you don't maintain these, they can be nitrate factories, so it's just something to be aware of, but we'll see how we get on. We then have the bracket for the light, which we'll come on to another time. I am going to review the light and the skimmer because they are kind of, videos in their own right. So we will get onto that. You get some reef spec carbon. It's not life-changing, but it's nice that they include this. It's quite decent carbon. Make sure you give it a good rinse, and it's just to keep your water clear and reduces smells as well, which is a nice addition for when you're starting out, especially if you're a beginner, because these are the kind of things that you'll not think about, and when the price of things is stacking up, the last thing you want to do is spend 20 quid on some carbon. So the fact they've included that in there is great. Next up, we have a pump of some description, so let's just have a look. So this looks like this is your skimmer pump here. So your air line goes on here, and then the drive in here causes fine bubbles, which makes the skimmer work. Again, really nice bit of kit, and I think it's quite low powered, which is great. It's not going to 7.5 watts, so it's not going to break the bank in this current economic crisis with energy, etc. Here we have the skimmer cup. Again, it's quite similar to the profile of the auto top-off, which causes a really nice look. Well made, just solid plastic. All of your skimmate goes in here, and it's just easy to take off, pour away. Power cable, self-explanatory really. We've got another pump here, which will be your return pump. This one is 16 watt and it's 950 litres per hour. Some people will upgrade these pumps, but I think starting out, absolutely awesome. This will last a few years before you really want to update it. Some people will only update it if they're running, a high flow SPS system. So we'll see, because I'm on a mixed reef. We'll use wave makers to chuck the water about, and we'll get onto that another time. We then have the skimmer body, which obviously plugs into that pump that we talked about previously. There's your airline tube there. Again, really nice profile. It's kind of smoked plastic, so it's going to blend in. It's not going to stick out. It would be really, really rubbish if it was pure white or bright green or something, but no, nice smoked plastic, so that's great. Really solidly made, and it's very narrow, so that's how much room you've got, so you're going to struggle to get your hand down there a lot. So the fact that they've filled this whole area with the skimmer is great, because it means you're going to get a lot of bubbles, a lot of travel there for your waste to travel up into the skimmer cup. Next up, you have something for the LED 50 light, which comes standard. It used to be AA primes, now it's the Red Sea 50. So it's just the power supply. Quite self-explanatory there. Another little sponge there, which is great. You have your teardrop or eye outlet, which just goes onto the return. sticks through the wall, and you can rotate it just to make sure that you haven't got any dead spots in the tank, or if one coral is getting blasted, you can, you know, remove the flow from that area or point it up at the surface for some surface agitation. And then the pièce de résistance, you have the Reef LED 50, which I'm very excited to look at. We'll have a quick look. As I have mentioned, we will do a proper review, but it's a really nice bit of kit. It's a really good looking light as well. I quite like the form of it. And of course you have the Red Sea badge there, which is great to see. Everything has been well packed as well. There's nothing bouncing around. Everything's covered in this foam, as well as the tank. So it's a really nice LED puck. And it's got a good rounded lens on there, so you're going to get some nice spread, which is perfect for this tank. Some people say it's actually a bit of overkill. We will see. I'll do a proper review on how the light is going once we've got some salt water in there and some corals. But it looks like a really nice bit of kit, and apparently the app is getting better. They had some problems, but they are reviewing it and making it better all the time. It's quite intuitive, so I'm looking forward to using that. You also get this accessory, which isn't in the box, but it is actually in the sump. It's in its little holder, and it is a filter sock, which is a Red Sea filter sock, custom made. I can't remember what micron size it is. It might be 150, 250, something like that. I will put what it is on screen now. But it is a great little filter sock. It runs the whole length of the sump, and it allows you to catch the detritus, waste and food before it breaks down and before it gets to the protein skimmer, which is pretty cool. So there you have it, guys. As you can see, you get a lot of accessories and value for money with the Red Sea Max Nano. With a bit of customization, you can dial in the tank to your specifications by simply removing the ATO and replacing it with a digital one to give you extra water volume for your reservoir. Or you can replace the skimmer, remove it entirely and pack it full of biomedia. Some people do that. The options are really limitless with this tank. It's a good starting point for any reefer, whether you're a beginner or experienced. So here is the tank in position. It might be tweaked slightly, but I've placed it here because I work from home as a toy designer. I sit at this desk for many hours working away, so I can view the tank from two sides here, and then this door here is leading to the main entrance to our home. So there's a lot of foot traffic through here, meaning that the reef can be viewed from pretty much every angle other than the back, which is a great bonus. I haven't put any of the equipment in because I'll be doing that in an upcoming video. We'll be looking at the light, the skimmer, etc. in further detail. We'll also be running down on what media I'm going to be using, sand, rock, and also what I'm going to be putting in the cabinet. So why don't we just take a quick look at how easy the stand was put together. There's only a few images because it was quite easy. If you put together any IKEA furniture, you'll be really adept at putting this together. This literally took me about 35 minutes, if that, and that was literally because I didn't really pay attention to the instructions at first. Make sure you put all your pieces out and make sure that you've got all the screws, etc. You don't really have any worries there because you do get some spares, which is really good. Just make sure you put something soft on the floor like a rug, or even just the cardboard box that it comes in, because obviously this is a very delicate cabinet. You don't want to scuff it up by putting it on the floor if there's any grub or anything, especially if you've been doing this in your garage. Just be careful just to protect it. This is going to last a few years before you inevitably upgrade, so just make sure you protect the cabinet as much as you would protect the glassware. Unpacking the tank takes a bit of time. It's wrapped in plastic and polystyrene, so just be careful not to rip it open like it's Christmas Day. Go carefully, go slowly. Get another person to help you, as the foam pad will slip around as you try to place the tank down. I would say it's an easy one-man lift if you're quite strong. If you're a bit timid about these kinds of things, get two people to help. There's no shame in getting another person to help you lift the tank on. Once you've got the tank in position, just make sure it's level. You don't want this to be slipping and sliding. However, it's a small tank, you're not going to have too many issues with the tank being unlevel. So in the next video, we will be taking a look at what equipment I will be using, from wave makers all the way through to the stock equipment. We'll be looking at the Red Sea light and getting a good idea on how that works. If you enjoyed the video and you're enjoying the start of my journey, please like, share and subscribe. Because it really helps me out. If you didn't like it, dislike it, that's totally fine too. The YouTube algorithm loves a bit of interaction, so either way, if you liked it or disliked it, let me know. Also comment down below on what Red Sea tank you've got, or any other tank that you've got. Anything I should look out for myself, and let's get a discussion going on what should the next steps be. Alright guys, thanks very much for joining me. I've been Alex, this is Discover Marine, and I hope you enjoyed. Take care guys, peace.